If I had to give 3 characteristics of this particular wing, I would say first, lift. Second, oscillation control. And third, ease of use for that beginner. I'm Mike Brown and this is the Mojo Max. Welcome to the Aviator Show and I'm Mike Brown. And this morning I had an amazing flight and I took the Mojo Max. It was a beautiful flight on a trashy morning, but it was very easy and docile. This wing is designed specifically for the beginner, more so the trike beginner who actually has never even flown before. When I took it up for the first time, it was hands off. A beautiful wing, just easy and docile. Even though we had quite a bit of gusty 8-mile-an-hour winds, man, it was a fun flight. Let's open that bag up. Brand spanking new. Let's see what it's like. Oh yeah, it'll never smell like that again, I'll tell you. And the crispiness, we love new wings. There's 2 colors it comes in, blue and orange. Probably will change the colors later. They call it a size 36. That's 30.7 square meters of projected area. Specifically designed for the 250 to 550 pound range. You can take a big guy like myself who weighs 220 or higher, and a big trike, like a 250 pound trike, in the air and not have to worry about it. It's set up for 8 Gs. The wing itself is designed specifically to be not only stable but strong. So the wing is reinforced, the lines are reinforced, so you can take that weight, it can take that G load if you really want to give it. This is specifically designed for the guy who just wants to be able to get in the air. He's a heavier man or he's flying a bigger trike. And this is specifically for those trike flight schools that particularly like to fly trike guys routinely. Mojo Max, it's a game changer as far as the type of wing design. They took the Mojo Power 2 and kind of amped it up a little bit as far as control. They then adopted the winglet design. Now the winglet design has been around a while. They used to do that in the paragliding world where they'd add that to the outer side or outer edges of a wing that helped the stability of the wing and keep it stable. Setup was a breeze with no problems, and specifically what I liked the most about it was the large size eyelets that are on the risers. And let's talk about those risers for a little bit. Now a trike design wing, it has shorter risers, and the purpose for that is twofold. First, you want to be able to have the ability to hold those A's, reach back and grab them, and if they're too long you can't reach and pull, so that's a problem. And then secondly, if the risers are too long, you can't reach up and grab the toggles if you let go and stow your brakes. So you make a shorter riser for trikes so that you have the ability to ride holding your toggles specifically at kind of shoulder length or at ear length. And that's a nice feature of having a shorter riser. Another feature of the risers that they've adopted here, but also roller trim, which was very smooth and very handy. When I was in the air flying this morning, I brought the trims out all the way. It was nice and smooth, and then when I brought it in, the pull was nice and slick. It wasn't like a full tension, like I had to pull and yank on it to get it to the point where I needed it to be. With the Mojo Power 2, the difference between the Power 2 and now this particular design is look at the distance of throw for the risers. You really get a big trim range, which is very important, especially with the Mojo. Now the Mojo is designed to be a beginner wing, so it's fairly slow, but trikers who like to be able to go a little bit faster and not just lump along while all their friends are downrange, they want to be able to pick up the pace a little bit. Ozone designed a longer trim range to give you quite a bit more speed, which is a very nice feature. And I applied that this morning because we had 8-mile-an-hour winds and I was concerned that I may not be able to get back based on the penetration, but bringing my risers all the way out full, I was easily able to get back with no problem. And that's a good feature. When you're flying a regular Mojo, there is no place to put your A-assist. Ozone designed an A-assist in the way of webbing here that you put your lines through, do a hoop loop, and a connect with cistern clips, which is a very nice feature, and I like that a lot. That's really nice. One other major important feature, and the reason why it's so durable and carries such weight, is you can see how thick these lines are. As I was beginning that launch, it was a very easy pull on the A's. I didn't have to heap those A's up. It was just nice and docile and gentle. It was a light pull, not necessarily just trying to pull my arms back. Now, I was flying a 250-pound trike. The winds were 8 miles an hour, and I thought for sure I was going to get kicked, but not a problem at all. The wings just kind of eased up with no problem. That didn't yank my trike back, so I was very impressed by how docile that wing comes up over your head and sits, which is important. It didn't give me that big surge like you normally would get, especially in a higher wind. That wing just sat right on top. It didn't want to jump forward and surge, and I was pretty impressed by that as well. As that wing comes up over your head, typically on most wings, you're going to pick up quite a bit of pace as you're bringing in the power, basically to a taxi speed. And as that happens and you're starting to slow down, the wing wants to just kind of lunge forward, surge, and then collapse. So adding a little bit of brake pressure is important. It's much different than, say, the Triox or just a regular wing that I fly, whether it's a Sirocco, a free ride, or whatever the case. So much different, much easier, and like we said, it's a really perfect beginner wing, and that's exactly what we need for a guy who's never even kited before, and to bring that wing up and have it nice and stable, sit right over your head like that, that's very important. They came up with a nice toggle design. It's good in your hand, it feels comfortable, and it's soft, and it's got that nice spongy feel to it. And the way they've got the lock set up, which is unique, is it's a magnet and also a clip at the same time. So it clips in there and stays, but it's also a magnet. If you're flying around and you just want to attach it like this, it'll sit. The wing was very docile and stable over my head. I literally could actually just let my hands go with no toggle and let it just control itself. And that was even in a condition where we had quite a bit of rotor behind a huge hangar with just trashy air to begin with. And I literally could have just let it go. Not only was I having an easy time taxiing, but also, I was doing that crosswind. So the winds were coming at my left side. The wing just kind of sat, turned a little bit into the wind, and just sort of waited for me to bring it up. I literally could let go of the toggles and the wing would handle itself. I didn't have to worry about boxing it or keeping the oscillation under control. I just literally let go. It just kind of controlled itself based on those winglets and the way that how stable the wing was. As I was making my circles to the right and to the left and doing S turns, I would dip the wing a little bit and it would want to come right back. So it was a very easy taxi. It was barely over idle to get me off the ground, which is very unique. The lift capability in this wing is huge. I'm right at close to the max of the wing already. My trike is 253 pounds, adding gas to it, and I'm somewhere around 218. So we're very, very close to that 580 pound range. At 50 feet, the wing was stable already. I could basically power to get it off the ground, and that would have been at 50 to 100 feet, which is amazing. If you want to compare that to the Triox takes quite a bit of speed in order for you to get off the ground. That's a large ground distance or a range of ground distance. So I would probably say about maybe 65 yards in some cases to get that Triox off the ground. It takes quite a distance. But with this wing, it was 50 feet to 100 feet. So that's pretty impressive. A lot of guys with trikes have a long roll where it takes them quite a distance, where all the foot launchers can take off in a few feet. But with this wing, that changed. That's a game changer for us. So that's important as well. Once I was in the air, it was hands off. I could fly anywhere. The pull of the toggle and the control was nice and docile with no problems. And it was very easy on the control, very easy on the inputs. I made that nice pull. And as I let go of that toggle, I brought it back up to its stay. I kind of tried to get it to an oscillation state where I pull it and then just give it back really quickly, and I couldn't get that oscillation out of it. It was very easy to control. I could just easily make that right-hand turn or that left-hand turn, get where I wanted to be, let go of the toggle, and it was right back to where I needed it. A regular Mojo power 2 or a Mojo Power, those wings are designed for that beginner, you know, hands off more or less, and it'll fly stable. There's no difference in this wing except for the fact that it doesn't oscillate at all, which is important. And you know, you can get into trouble with oscillation, and that's the biggest problem in most of the wings is that the oscillation can get you into a state where you can't get out of it. And for this one, it's just hands off, let it fly, it'll take care of you. And that's what we liked about it. Coming in for the landing, it was a very slow and easy landing. It wasn't, you know, I didn't have to go through my checklist. I could take my time at 80 feet, bringing it down, getting ready for that 20 foot, transfer your vision, nice and easy, nice and slow. Just kind of wait it out, add a little bit of power at the end, and just kind of gradually touch down with some brake. It was a very smooth wing to land, very easy control. It wasn't, I didn't have to deal with a lot of fast hand movements to get the wing to settle nicely. It was very calm and easy. And once on the ground and taxiing to where I wanted to go, the wing just basically hung over my head. And if I wanted to make a left-hand turn, it was a very easy pull to the left and to kind of follow the wing, and that was very simple. And the wing just wanted to come right back, which is very surprising. It didn't want to drag down and stay in that position. It always wants to return, which I thought was very unique. And that's what I enjoyed the most about taxiing the wing. If I had to give 3 characteristics of this particular wing, I would say first, lift. Second, oscillation control. And third, ease of use for that beginner. And this wing is designed specifically for that guy who's never flown before. He just wants to hook up and be able to get this thing in the air and go flying. And that's what the Mojo Max is for. And that's all we got for the Mojo Max. I'm Mike Brown, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Mojo Max. That is hilarious. I'm Mike Brown, and this is the Mojo Max.
Now I wish I can go fly.
Yeah.